Fact is, your head is very, very hard. With this part of your head, I've got a scar there from doing that, and if it splits, it bleeds very, very heavily, and you get blood all in your eyes. If I was going to deliver it to Adam, I can use any of the sides of my head to deliver into his jaw here, pushing up here, or you can come into the side of the cheek here. All of that will fracture. Everything from here down on the face is good. So the jaw, the chin, the mouth, the nose and the cheekbones, it's all absolutely fine, it's all valid. It can be hit with any part of the weapon, the back of your head, top of your head, side of your head.
There's also inside ones up here near the funny bone, and you'll tap that. Elbows are really nice in doing this. If I'm in, he throws a hook, right there. This is a drive that goes right up into the nerve. It travels all the way down to the hand. And there's another one that we do also. Because of how this is set, we can go through here. Any gunting move or any type of passing move that I use for working control, I can hit here directly on the bicep. We go directly to that nerve, it'll travel all the way down, and after a while they will not swing that hard, even during training, because that becomes very uncomfortable. You hit it just like this, the hook lines this strike up perfectly to strike that nerve. And after a good hit, they are dropping, and it's like the arm is numb and you can't do too much with it right away. It slows down the ability to bring the arm back up fast.
Those are a couple of ways of attacking the throat. Anything that you do that applies pressure here is going to be uncomfortable. If you tie clinch me again, so we've got a point of reference, if I can get my hand up and in and just attack with the edge of my hand and push, or push here, or if you come closer again, my forearm and push it back. Don't look for it to be a fight, don't look for it to be a fight finisher, but think of it in terms of controlling the head. Squeeze me in, so he's got a good squeeze in there. I can support it, I can even help myself turn this, roll it, and roll this head down. We've just changed the whole basis of the fight. Here he's in a good strong position, very powerful position, very uncomfortable to get in a tie clinch, and I've reversed it just by taking control of his throat, and through his throat his head. So that's throat attacks.
What we're going to do is we're going to look for the neck clinch, okay? And at the same time, we're going to go ahead, boom, and drop that headbutt in real quick. All right, so he throws that in, boom, I step in, I get low, I get around his neck, and I have this pulling motion as my body's propelling upward, right? So we got kind of a double-edged sword going on. One more time, step in, boom. Okay, so if that punch is coming around, it'll still go towards our backside.
Set him up with a jab, and then you can come down with your right hammer fist to his quad. Then when you come back up after the hammer fist, you're gonna shove him to your right, towards that rear leg of yours. All that weight's gonna be on his left leg. It's kind of a sneaky thing because I get to come in real close and I hide it a lot with jabs, twos, hooks. I tend to bring my leg up and turn it horizontal and then shoot it forward to create more of a space where I can hit.
Slowly, you're cupping the ear. What you're doing is you're creating a suction as you do that, and you're forcing air into the ear canal, and the goal here is to rupture their eardrum. That also messes up their equilibrium while you do that.
Just like a jar and an orange inside of a water, when you shake that really hard, the orange inside starts bouncing. That's called a concussion. What you want to do is take the orange, which is the brain, shake the head, and have the brain bounce inside the walls of the skull. That's going to cause a complete shutdown.
It gives you enough time to be able to walk away or run away, whichever it may be. So, once again, number one, striking the ear. You don't want to go flat to the ear, and you also don't want your fingers open. You want your hand closed, so from here, as you strike, your hand pops open. It doesn't telegraph, it just goes straight for the ear. Is a palm strike underneath the chin. So from the same thinking man's position, remember, you can do this from either index. The defensive index, hands up, palms facing the attacker, hey, I don't want any trouble, to where you come up underneath and you strike the chin. The idea is not to hit the chin straight on. Also, you don't want to touch the person's face with your hand. Okay? Shy away from that. You want this coming up in a shelving manner right through the center line of his body. He's not going to see this coming from underneath. If you're doing this, he might see it. Or whomever. You want to come underneath, and as you do this, you drop your body and pop the chin up. The idea is to tilt this person's head back, because wherever the head goes, the body goes. So if you strike them hard enough from here, you're going to get them to fall back. From the reverse position, thinking man's posture, you want to hit the mandible, which is basically the joint where your jaw connects to your skull. You want to hit that. 50 pounds of pressure will break that. So from this point here, from this position, you want to explode and hit the mandible. So from this position, and bust that clavicle. Can you imagine busting their jaw and busting the collarbone at the same time? They're going to be walking around like a retard. They're in so much pain, they're not going to know what the hell to do. And I'm not talking throat punch, uppercut. I'm talking straight forward. Watch your thumb. You can't have your thumb like this because it's going to cause damage to your thumb. Your fist needs to be closed. Straight in and strike. Boom. Straight in. You don't want the back of your wrist touching his chest. You want this to extend right into his throat.
So for the eye gouge, what you actually do is you get your hand to the top of the head, and then you slide your thumb, just by feeling it, over to the tear duct side of the eye. So without looking, I can take my hand to his jaw, and I know if I raise up here, I can take my thumb there, slide it down to the tear duct side of his eye. I can leverage by pulling on the back of his ear, and I can push my thumb into his eyeball, and you can actually get a little bit of depth there. Listen, I said, if you want to do permanent damage to the eyes, and in order to damage that, you've got to burst the sac and get the fluid out of it, crush the eye, and then it can be removed. If you want to do damage to the cornea, you don't just slide the thumb in round the back in one motion. You've actually got to look at gouging into the eye and moving it. You can actually start to look at raking across the cornea should you feel that's something that you need to do. If you want to do damage because the situation merits it, we do it slightly differently. The point of reference is not from the side here, it's from the cheekbone here. And my weapon is no longer the tip of my thumb, it's these two fingers here. If I want to seriously damage the eye, I'm going to come up and in here, drive in this way, and then I'm going to hook towards the skull. And what I'm actually looking to do there is to apply so much pressure this way. I'm bracing with my hand on his skull there, and I'm pushing it against the side there, and gouging at the same time to actually burst the eyeball. Then that can then all be pulled out and through that way. So if you look at driving the fingers right the way through and back in, and doing some real damage in there.
Fights move, we move. I say it all the time, fights move, we move. I've never been in a slow motion fight. Pause here. Never. Yeah. I'm fighting. I'm moving. I'm moving. Okay. I'm moving. Pointed down. Can I track? Can I track? Let's pause. You know, can I certainly do one of these? And guess what? Yeah. Okay. So this is how it's gonna go. Yeah. Shit. I'm moving. I'm rattling. I'm waiting to take that knife away. First one, I went here. Ha! I went here. Look, he kept moving. Okay. I'll let you. This is also a hit. Yeah. This is a wrap. I'm gonna take this, again, going right back to my heart. But notice, I'm above his elbow. And he has a lot of range of motion with that hand right there. So the second that I get in, I wrap and push. Okay. I wrap and push. I rake all this skin, tendon, all this good stuff as I'm raking my arm down, bringing this to my heart. And again, if not, I don't have a gun, or I just chose to do it this way. I reach underneath, find that handle, find that finger. Okay. Controlling that. That's my control. So the first thing is I'm going to shock. Shock. Yeah. Shock. Impact. Yeah. Even when I did shield wall, boom, that was impact. Yeah. Impact, because that throws off his game. Shock, impact, wrap, Control that. From here, everything else is follow through. If you had a knife and you were going to follow up with a knife, attack, shoot, gun, shoot, punch, kick, knee, boom, boom, baton, whatever your tool is, whatever you'll follow through. That's individual and should be automatic based on you and what the tools available to you are.
You don't want to just stop here and then try to roll. The whole time you're trying to put your fingertips to your stomach, to your center, your belt buckle, your heart out, whatever you want to call it. So you're rolling this the whole entire time. That intensifies the technique 100-fold. So when you're doing that fast and you move into this, that happens quickly.
This is how I generally will block uppercuts, and you probably know by now I'm about inflicting pain also when you're blocking. People who just keep blocking are constantly in a passive mode. It's always passive. You want to change from a passive or reactive mode to an active mode. So as quick as you can, you want to go from defense to offense. You can start your offense by blocking and inflicting pain. What I would do is, from this position, when an uppercut will come in, I would just simply use my forearm and chop down in this posture. Chop down. What happens is, and you can try this at home and try this and you'll see how this pain happens. What happens is, when you're blocking this uppercut, people, you're coming down with your forearm and you're smashing the veins. This is what you're doing. You're smashing the veins. All right? The velocity of them coming up with that uppercut combined with you coming down is going to inflict a great deal of pain on that person. All right?
Cool sounding name. If it's not available, why would you throw it, right? But if I got a guy that's doing this a lot, he's ducking his head every time I throw a hook or a jab, then yeah, then I can catch him. If he's smaller than me, perfect. I'm gonna catch him. If I'm fighting a guy that's 7 foot tall, I'm not gonna reach up here to try to hit him, okay? Okay? The last common mistake is throwing an arm punch, like a curling motion. The power doesn't come from your arm, right? It's not in your bicep, so I don't wanna see this, but I do see that a lot. Instead, what I want you to do is throw it from the ground up. I twist and I bend my knees. Think Mike Tyson, right? He keeps his hands glued to his cheeks, he loads up with his knees and twisting his hips. Then at the last second as he's coming up, boom, that's when you release and let go.